Welcome back to Eurofootball Daily for this week's Euro transfer talk, and quite the week it's been for news in the game we love. So with no further delay, let's get started. In any other week, Tottenham Hotspur's sacking of Jose Mourinho would be headline news. The special one took over in North London following Daniel Levy's sacking of Maurizio Pochettino in November 2019. Yet, just 17 months later, finds himself unemployed after Spurs' 2-2 draw against Everton left his side in 7th, 5 points off the Champions League spots. This news also came just 124 days after the Portuguese coach had Spurs occupying top spot in the Premier League, following just one defeat in their opening 12 fixtures this campaign. But as Lily White fans started to dream of a legitimate title challenge, their form turned with just 4 wins in their last 10 games. Having not occupied a Champions League spot since a 3-1 defeat to Liverpool at the end of January, the sacking also comes just days ahead of what would have been Jose's first final in charge of Spurs, as they face Manchester City in the Carabao Cup this Sunday. Mourinho has failed to impress, especially in recent weeks, which has seen them lose 2-1 to rivals Arsenal and throw away a 2-goal lead in a Europa League tie to Dynamo Zagreb. No team has dropped more points from winning positions than Spurs' 20 in the Premier League this season, with Mourinho failing to take the blame for his side's deficiencies, coming up with the line "same coach, different players" in his own defence. But of course, this leaves everyone wondering who will be the next permanent manager at Tottenham Hotspur. Ryan Mason and Chris Powell are set to take over from Mourinho, who won just 51% of his 86 matches until the end of the season. But for the next campaign, Julian Nagelsmann has recently been linked with the role, and have recently received positive news that RB Leipzig, the 33-year-old's current employers, will refuse to let him go to Bayern Munich, with the Bavarians likely to see Hansi Flick vacate his role in the summer. But if Spurs do want Nagelsmann, they'll likely have to pay a fee between 15 and 20 million euros to land him, a hefty fee for a manager. Other names near the top of the odds include Leicester City boss Brendan Rodgers, Wolves' Nuno Espirito Santo, and the unemployed Eddie Howe, who has recently been strongly linked with taking over at Celtic ahead of next season. But we want to know what you all think. Were Spurs right to sack Jose Mourinho? Who should take over at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? Let us know in the comments below. From North to West London next, where Tammy Abraham is said to be considering his future at Chelsea following the weekend's events. The 23-year-old striker didn't even make the 9-man bench for Chelsea's FA Cup semi-final appearance over Manchester City, which Thomas Tuchel's side won 1-0. This is despite the Englishman being the Blues' top scorer this campaign, with 12 goals in all competitions. Abraham has so far started just 2 games under Tuchel since the German's appointment in January, and in each fixture, a 2-0 victory over Burnley and a 1-1 draw with Southampton, the former Aston Villa loanee has found himself hooked at half-time. A key component of Frank Lampard's Project Youth at Stamford Bridge, it's now looking unlikely that the out-of-favour frontman will be part of Gareth Southgate's Euro 2020 squad, something that many people would have anticipated at the start of this campaign. The 2 clubs to be linked with Abraham so far are Chelsea's rivals for the European spots, Leicester City and West Ham. The Foxes at some point need to start prepping for life without 34-year-old Jamie Vardy, and it's unlikely that, whilst in good form now, Kelechi Iheanacho is going to slip perfectly into the veteran's shoes. And as for West Ham, well, their striker situation is well documented. After selling Seb Allar to Ajax in January, Mikel Antonio is the only one at the club. But the 31-year-old is injury prone and is currently sat on the sidelines with a reoccurring hamstring problem. Abraham has 2 years left on his deal with Chelsea, and being a young Englishman, the price it will cost to sign him will carry a premium. The 6-times capped international, who has been at Chelsea since he was 7 years old, is valued by Transfermarkt at £36 million. Whilst his club, should Tuchel decide he no longer requires Abraham's services, would likely look for a fee upward of £40 million. Is that a reasonable fee for the Englishman though? Let me know down below. And in more Chelsea news, a player identified by Tuchel as an attacker that could make a difference at Stamford Bridge is Paulo Dybala. This is despite his manager at Juventus, Andrea Pirlo, recently doubling down on the Argentine's future, saying he will not be sold in the upcoming summer transfer window. However, the 27-year-old, who has recently recovered from a knee injury that sidelined him for 3 months, sees his contract at the Allianz Arena expire in 2022. And whilst Juve have reportedly offered the attacker a new deal, he has not accepted it, with both sides currently refusing to budge on their demands. If no deal is to come to fruition though, then it would surely signal an exit for Dybala from the club, unless they were willing to lose him on a free next summer. And as it stands, it looks like Chelsea are in pole position for the forward, although the Blues won't be offering a fee for the former Palermo man. Instead, if Chelsea do decide to move for Dybala, it would be a player swap deal, with Tuchel willing to sacrifice both Emerson and Jorginho to land their target for the 2021-22 campaign. 26-year-old Emerson, who sees his own contract expire next summer too, has remained third choice left back behind both Ben Chilwell and Marcos Alonso, although he did pop up with a Champions League goal against Atletico Madrid recently. And as for Jorginho, the 29-year-old Italian international has been in and out of the side this campaign, but has featured more regularly since Tuchel's arrival. Despite that though, rumours regarding his future haven't slowed down. With the midfielder's contract expiring in 2023, a decision does have to be made about whether or not Jorginho is part of Chelsea's long-term future, and that needs to be made sooner rather than later. Now you know we were going to talk about it, so here it is. The European Super League was announced on Sunday with 12 founding members, but by now you'll know who they are. And as the transfer show, we'll briefly dive into the finances of it all and the reaction to it, especially from the authorities. So first of all, how is it being funded? American financial juggernaut JP Morgan are said to be bankrolling the competition in its infancy, with the total funding said to be somewhere between $4 and $5 billion. With the 15 founding members, the 12 already announced plus 3 more yet to be named, sharing a pot worth around $3.5 billion for the first campaign. This might seem like a lot of money, and it is, but it is basically a loan that JP Morgan expects to be repaid over the course of the 23-year agreement signed by the clubs. The ESL are also flirting with the likes of Amazon and Disney in order to actually sell the media rights for the competition, with the belief being that they can generate around $4 billion, a third more than the Champions League currently makes every year. And so of course this means prize money will be substantially higher, as UEFA currently dish out $2 billion to the 32 teams that reach the group stages. The ESL will hope to be making more money with significantly fewer teams. And whilst organisers of the Breakaway League insist they can increase solidarity payments to those not a part of the competition, with the €400 million suggested by their Security General Anas Laghari more than triple the €130 million that UEFA currently splits amongst its 54 member nations. Amongst the strongest reactions to this over the last 24 hours, perhaps surprisingly, has come from the British government. Oliver Dowden, the Secretary of State for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport, stood before Parliament yesterday and said in no uncertain terms, if UEFA and the Premier League can't act, then we will. Prime Minister Boris Johnson even said that we are going to look at everything we can do with the football authorities to make sure that this doesn't go ahead. It's not good news for fans and it's not good news for football in this country. But what actually could Johnson & Co do to prevent anything going ahead? The most likely way at the moment appears to be refusing to issue work permits to any foreign signing that Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United or Spurs make. As the UK is no longer part of the EU, players can't even move freely from the continent to the Premier League, instead having to apply for a work permit so legally they can earn a living. Although such a decision could see the clubs hoover up all the British talent with their new riches, further growing the divide between them and everyone else. They may also have the power to veto visas. This would mean no non-British side would be allowed to enter the country in order to fulfil their fixtures for the ESL, forcing clubs to play their matches abroad, which could possibly be somewhere like the Middle East or China, adding further travel for players season on season. There are of course a lot of moving parts to this. The ESL itself is only a couple of days old and we expect far more details to emerge in the coming days, weeks and months. As ever, we're interested to hear what you guys think about this. Let us know down in the comments below. Wow, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. What an episode of Euro Transfer Talk. It's insane at the moment, these past couple of days. Let us know, as we said, down below how you're feeling all about this. If you want to see more Europe-related content, then watch yesterday's video where Doogie and co spoke about how this will affect European teams. And if you want to see more content like this and stay up to date with the European Super League, then make sure you're subscribed to Euro Football Daily. And as ever, guys, don't forget to like the video.